Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Guzman-Singh. Topping our newscast, Roy Leshen's Schneider Hospital on St. Thomas has fallen victim to a lack of protocol, and it's costing the hospital way more than $100,000. Find out how a court order remanding one St. Croix patient in the custody of the Justice Department to the St. Thomas Hospital put Schneider in a tight spot. News 2's April Knight has that story.
Schneider executives are in a quandary. 5 months ago, a St. Croix Superior Court order remanded a patient with violent criminal history to Schneider. The patient is supposedly suffering from mental illness that Juan Louis Hospital on St. Croix is not equipped to handle. But Schneider officials say neither are they.
We are not a forensic unit. We have a behavioral unit where we house psychiatric patients or patients with psychiatric diagnoses that don't necessarily pose the same dangers as a patient from forensics.
Chief Medical Officer Luis Amaro said one provision of the court ruling, not to change the patient's medication regimen, is also dangerous.
Puts us now to have pressure to abide by a court order versus follow our responsibilities as physicians.
To make matters worse, the Department of Justice also pulled out their security personnel from the hospital 2 weeks after admission. The behavioral unit is left to deal with a potentially violent patient with only 2 nurses on duty and security staff at the hospital's expense. This was 5 months ago, and the patient is still living in Schneider Hospital. The lack of protocol to handle situations like this is at the root of the problem. Schneider CEO Bernard Wheatley.
To me, is really unethical. The least we can do is have a professional dialogue between physicians and even in the court system with the institution to see whether or not we can accept such a patient.
The court order is proving costly for Schneider. The ruling says that the hospital cannot release the patient without risking contempt of court. But it didn't say who's footing the massive hospital bills. Right now, that bill is close to $200,000 and rising. The court is deciding on the matter again on February 22nd. But until then, the patient remains the unforeseen responsibility of the People's Hospital. Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Meanwhile, the Schneider Hospital Governing Board, they met Wednesday night and received reports from top executives of the hospital. CEO Dr. Bernard Wheatley presented the hospital's progress in various areas of its strategic plan, which includes making Schneider the hospital of choice in the territory. Chief Financial Officer Fred Vitello also reported that while they're projecting a $6 million loss in 2015, that's actually better than the $17 million loss the previous fiscal year. The board did approve some $2 million worth of raises for its nurses. The hospital's financial difficulties, however, resulted in the board declaring Schneider to be in a state of exigency.
The exigency is the great financial difficulties that the hospital faces and the inability to do some things. In this case, one of the things was continue to pay at a huge loss for our anesthesia services. And with our nurses, you may have come to some of our meetings, we've been wanting to give them raises for a long time. We just didn't have enough money. We have some of the money at least, so we've given a unilateral raise.
3 St. Croix senators met on Thursday with the Louis Hospital's executive leadership team. The senators were provided with vital information regarding the status and progress in regards to Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, mandates and corrective measures being undertaken to achieve compliance by August 2015. The senators were reassured by Dr. Kendall Griffith, Chief Executive Officer, and other hospital officials that the executive team will be able to meet the CMS compliance mandate. Senator Kurt Violet, Chairman of Health, Hospital and Human Services, Senator Francis Jr. and Senator O'Reilly took that opportunity to address some other critical issues such as adequate hospital staffing, nurse-to-patient ratio, and the care needs of the aging population. Health and Human Services will be a big priority for the Mapp-Potter administration, and Governor Mapp spent time talking about the improvements they plan to make in those areas. News 2's Erica Parsons has that story.
Rest assured that the Mapp-Potter administration will be marked by our ability to appreciate our senior citizens and care for them well.
That's the promise Governor Kenneth Mapp is making to the elderly, putting seniors first in the first year of his term.
My administration is implementing a plan to prioritize the extension of all-day service to seniors at the 3 existing centers within our first year in office. Thereafter, we will renovate and reopen the Aldersville Senior Center in Frederiksted.
During Governor Mapp's State of the Territory speech, he said staffing levels within the Department of Human Services is down 18%. That reduction has affected services for seniors.
Senior centers have been reduced from 6 territory-wide to just 1 on each island.
My own mother attended programs at the Seniors Center in Anna's Retreat, and I know that when that center closed, the impact on those persons, I mean, they have a community there. There's something for them to look forward to.
Mapp, as his mom's caregiver, knows firsthand the challenges of caring for the elderly. He outlined a plan to provide senior centers and long-term care options for seniors with Alzheimer's or dementia-related diseases.
To address this growing crisis, we will be implementing, in addition to full senior center services, a fully supported family caregiver program as a less costly alternative to providing long-term care. We also recognize the need for long-term care for those who are not ambulatory. My administration is dedicated to our seniors and is intent on commissioning a state-of-the-art Medicare certified skilled nursing facility on both St. Thomas and St. Croix.
Mapp said the challenges of funding and staffing are also a problem for the Department of Health. His administration plans to make a priority. Erica Parsons, News 2.
In other news, District Court Judge Curtis Gomez sentenced Shaquem Fredericks, 20, Warkim Gabriel, 19, and Shefton Newton, 26, to 108 months in federal prison for their role in last year's armed robbery of Imperial Jewelry store on Main Street, St. Thomas. Co-conspirator Alvin Thomas was sentenced to 85 months in prison. In July, a jury found all 4 guilty of conspiracy to interfere with commerce by robbery and conspiracy to possess a firearm. Evidence revealed that on March 15, 2014, Fredericks, Gabriel, Newton, and Thomas, along with other conspirators, pointed the handguns at employees and patrons and proceeded to take jewelry with an overall value of $2 million. VIPD traffic enforcement arrested 26-year-old Lester Jackson Jr. and charged him with negligent homicide in connection with a fatal car accident that left a teenager and injured others. The accident that occurred on St. John just before 5 a.m. on January 10th. Here's more.
After conducting their investigation, traffic enforcement officers concluded that Jackson, who was the driver of the vehicle, fell asleep at the wheel and lost control of the car, causing it to crash into a utility pole. Jackson was arrested on January 29th at about 11 a.m. and charged with negligent homicide. His bail was set at $10,000 and he was remanded to the Bureau of Corrections pending further court action.
Rosemarie Sauter-Fred, former real estate broker charged with stealing hundreds of thousands from her clients, has been posting videos on YouTube, and Superior Court Judge Denise Francois is telling her to stop. The videos are reportedly showing Sauter talking about her views on religion, and Judge Francois says this could spoil the jury pool. Sauter fled the territory in February 2010, just before a warrant for her arrest was issued, but she was arrested in San Diego a year ago. Sauter is currently under house arrest. Her trial is set for October 19th. The fate of 2 Islamic State hostages remains unclear. Late Wednesday, ISIS released a message said to be of Japanese hostage Kenji Goto, extending the deadline for Jordan's release of a jailed female terrorist in exchange for the life of a Jordanian pilot. The message says the woman must be presented at the Turkish border by sunset today. Also, confirmation hearings continued today on Capitol Hill for Loretta Lynch, President Obama's nominee for Attorney General. Lynch is currently the U.S. Attorney in New York. Yesterday, lawmakers sought to gauge Lynch's loyalty to President Obama, something Republicans see as a problem with current Attorney General Eric Holder. The full Senate will vote on her nomination in February. Keeping our eye on the economy, Nissan is recalling close to 768,000 SUVs across the globe. The recalls to fix hood latches that are faulty and electrical shorts that could cause fires. Some models of the 2013 and 2014 Rogue SUV, Nissan Pathfinders, and Infinitis are affected. And Toyota is also recalling about 52,000 2011 and 2012 Avalon sedans. The concern is the risk of fire from short circuits in audio system wires. The companies say no injuries have been reported related to any of these issues. Now here's the New York Stock Exchange with a stock market watch. The Dow, Nasdaq, S&P all up. The Dow 225, Nasdaq 45, S&P 19. Coming up on News 2, after receiving numerous calls from constituents regarding flooding in the area nearly a month after heavy rainfalls, Senator Blyden, along with his chief of staff and community outreach specialist, immediately went out to survey the area of Coki Point Road in Smith Bay. Details coming up. Well, early last week, after receiving numerous calls from constituents regarding flooding in the area nearly a month after heavy rainfalls, Senator Marvin Blyden, along with his chief of staff and community outreach specialist, immediately went out to survey the area of Coki Point Road in Smith Bay, where residents told the freshman senator that the flooding made traveling on the road difficult and dangerous, forcing them to use alternative routes that are unsafe and a big inconvenience. Later that week, Senator Blyden, chair of the Committee on Housing, Public Works, and Waste Management, met with construction contractors at Margaritaville and officials of Lake Water and Delivery in an effort to get more insight into the Margaritaville construction and the impact it could have on the area regarding the flooding issue. Senator Blyden also mentioned that he received calls from residents concerned about roads in Nada near Brookman Road, as well as Agnes Fancy near the graveyard. Now, information gathered on these issues will be shared during the Committee on Housing, Public Works, and Waste Management's first meeting in March.
They stated that the water been here since a month, and it was way high, as you can tell with the lines on the wall, and it's real dangerous, and it's a liability to many of them that walk here. As you see, that young man right there is walking on the wall. They have to walk on the wall in order to traverse through here. At the same time, I talked to the owners of Cover World. They stated to me that they have over 20,000 guests coming through here on a monthly basis, and I think this is unacceptable. And I'm gonna call Government House and have a meeting with them to see how we can resolve this situation for our residents and for our guests.
Governor Mapp proclaimed this week as Catholic Schools Week. This year's theme is Catholic Schools, Communities of Faith, Knowledge, and Service. On Thursday, St. Mary's Catholic School, parents attended weekly Mass with their children as part of the week's activities. 8th graders also helped serve the homeless Thursday. St. Mary's administration encourages the community to support their auction on February 7th.
We have quite a bit of items up for bid, and this is to support St. Mary's and allow us to continue to be the bedrock of spiritual enlightenment and educational excellence. We are almost culminating the week now, but one of the featured activities is our students serving the needy and serving the homeless. The word service is in the theme, and we want to give students a sense of the importance of serving their fellow men. The importance of Catholic Schools Week cannot be underestimated. Catholic schools have played a tremendous role in our community as well as the world.
Congratulations to all. Dozens of people turned out for the opening gala of the St. Croix Seashell Exhibit Friday night. The collection is on display at the Fort Frederick Museum and has been since November. Visitors saw both local and international seashells, along with their common and scientific names. There was also information about the historical and cultural uses of the shells and the organisms that created them. The exhibit will be on display until May, and the St. Croix Seashell Society plans to host educational programs throughout the year. Did you get your New Year's resolution ticket? It's time to reflect on all of the things accomplished for 2014 and make new goals for loved ones, businesses, and careers. VI Lottery reps suggest if your resolutions involve more money, more excitement, travel, and happiness, take a chance. The drawing was held earlier today, and here are the winning numbers.
The VI Lottery presents drawing results of today's drawing on News 2. Here are their top prizes. Fifth prize for $20,000, 01632, 01632. Fourth prize for $30,000, 11140, 11140. Third prize for $40,000, 01550, 01550. Second prize for $65,000, 22478, 22478. And the winning ticket number for the grand prize for $175,000 is 30222, 30222. If your ticket number wasn't called, keep trying. One of these days, your number could win. The next drawing is February 12th. Play the VI Lottery and imagine the possibilities.
Well, good luck as you check those tickets. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast comes your way next.